Reports are stating that Spurs are no longer interested in signing Galatasaray centre-back Victor Nelsson. Ange Postecoglou has stated that Pape Matar Sarr is in his future plans. Reports are stating that defender Davinson Sanchez will remain at Spurs for the time being, as he will turn down a move to Russia, to Spartak Moscow. And Spurs owner Joe Lewis has been charged with orchestrating a brazen inside trader scheme, states US attorney Damian Williams.
Chris Cowlin. Fan cams. Club news. Transfer news. The Spurs Chat podcast. Match previews. Legend interviews. Spurs women. Press conferences. Covering everything Tottenham and England.
Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Now let's start by talking about Tottenham Hotspur owner Joe Lewis. This story is absolutely everywhere at the moment, and this one is from BBC Sport. They are stating that Tottenham Hotspur owner Joe Lewis has been charged with orchestrating a brazen insider trader scheme. US attorney Damian Williams has said Mr. Williams used a video announcement to accuse the British billionaire of using inside information to shower gifts on his friends and lovers. Mr. Williams also said that Mr. Lewis has been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. BBC Sport has approached Tottenham Hotspur and Mr. Lewis for comment. In the video statement posted on Twitter, Mr. Williams set out a series of allegations against Joe Lewis. A formal written statement known as an indictment has yet to be released. In the video, Mr. Williams said, "We allege that for years Joe Lewis abused his access to corporate boardrooms and repeatedly provided inside information to his romantic partners, his personal assistants, his private pilots and his friends." Mr. Williams, the Chief Federal Law Enforcement Officer for SDNY, alleged that Mr. Lewis's acquaintances used that information to make millions of dollars in the stock market. Thanks to Mr. Lewis, those bets were a sure thing, he claimed. Also, in this article from the BBC, it states that Mr. Lewis owns hundreds of assets, including Premier League club Spurs and a stake in UK pub chain Mitchells and Butlers. Forbes magazine has recently estimated his fortune at £4.73 million, the equivalent of $6.1 billion. Now, Sky News managed to get a comment from Tottenham Hotspur, and Spurs have stated this is a legal matter unconnected with the club, and as such, we have no comment. Now, next up, it has been widely reported in the last couple of days that there has been offers for defender Davinson Sanchez. The Sun newspaper have just stated that Tottenham Hotspur have got to prove to the UK government that Spartak Moscow's money for a deal for Davinson Sanchez has not come from a source hit with sanctions due to the war with Ukraine and could face legal issues. But the Guardian newspaper have stated that Davinson Sanchez is actually expected to turn down the move to Spartak Moscow because the ball is now in his court. Spurs have accepted the offer from the Russian club, but Davinson Sanchez has got to make the decision whether he wants to leave the club or not. Spurs boss Ange Postecoglou was asked the question, is Pape Matar Sarr in your plans for next season? His answer was absolutely. What a player. He never stops smiling. What else do you want from a footballer? He's outstanding and he's always happy. I've seen plenty of outstanding players who are fairly miserable. He's a great talent. That part really excites me. But at the moment, we have a clutch with Destiny, Pape and Skippy. We've got a talented and very exciting group there. There's some real growth there. For us, apart from establishing a team that we can make an impact straight away. In the last couple of months, Tottenham Hotspur have been heavily linked to Galatasaray centre-back Victor Nelsson. The Daily Express have just stated that Tottenham Hotspur are no longer in talks with Galatasaray for the centre-back, dismissing recent reports of an agreement between the clubs. Now, my thoughts on all of these stories in today's episode. Let's start by talking about Joe Lewis. I'll tell you what. It just seems that every single day we wake up as Spurs fans, there is always a drama. There is always a drama. There is always something going on. And whether it's on the pitch, off the pitch, mainly it's off the pitch. But it just leaves all of us feeling so frustrated. All of us fans, all we ever want is the club to be run well, good decisions to be made, and Tottenham Hotspur to compete and ultimately, in the end, be successful. And at the moment, we're not getting any of those things, and it's just so frustrating. It really is. If all of this stuff is true about Joe Lewis, this is very, very disappointing to hear and to read. It'd be interesting to see what happens in the future with Tottenham Hotspur, whether a change of owners come in. I'm not sure that that's going to be the case, whatever the outcome, because I think that it will just be passed down to family or passed across. Which brings me on really to talk about on the pitch. You know, I went to the open training session yesterday in the Singapore National Stadium, and Davinson Sanchez is still training with Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Ange Postecoglou come out and said in his press conference that Davinson Sanchez at the moment is looking for opportunities. In my opinion, why on earth bring a player like that who is looking for opportunities to the tour, to Australia, Thailand and Singapore? You might as well have left him at home and brought one of the development players who is actually going to get a great deal out of being on a tour like this, around players like Heung-min Son, Harry Kane and co. Hugo Lloris stayed at home. We all know that he's looking for another club. If Davinson Sanchez is looking for another club, what's the point in him coming on this tour? Many reports are stating that he's even going to refuse the move to Spartak Moscow. So he will continue at the moment as a Spurs player, and whether he'll look for another club, continue to look for another club, or he'll stay at Tottenham when the season begins, your guess is as good as mine. But I think there are a number of players on this tour that are probably looking for other clubs, and I think conversations should have been had. Harry Kane being another one. If Harry Kane's not going to stay at the football club, he's going to come on this tour and then leave after the tour ends. What's the point? You know, conversations should have been had with the chairman, the owners, the board, the manager, and the players concerned. You know, surely, you know, the amount of fans at the moment asking themselves, you know, is Harry Kane going to stay or not? Surely the chairman, the manager and Harry Kane would have all sat down and asked a simple question. Harry, do you think you're going to sign a new contract at the football club? Yes or no? Are you looking to move away from the football club this summer? Yes or no? Are you looking to move from the football club as a free transfer, on a free transfer next summer? Yes or no? These are all simple, basic questions. You know, agents involved as well, of course. Charlie Kane, Harry Kane's brother, is his agent. You know, surely these conversations would have taken place. If Harry Kane wants to leave the football club, then I think at this stage, you know, certainly a couple of weeks before the season starts, I think the fans have a right to know the direction of this football club, which brings me on to talk about the disappointing situation at the moment about not having any centre-backs. I've gone to all 3 open training sessions in Australia, in Thailand, and last night in Singapore. And all of the training sessions have been about attacking football. The defence doesn't seem to have been worked on. You know, it was unfortunate that the Leicester game didn't go ahead because we were seeing a little bit more about the defence, whether, you know, behind the scenes the defensive work has been worked on or not, or whether Leicester would have actually given us a test or not. I'm not really sure about that. But it's all about attack, and we saw in that West Ham game the defence is exactly the same. We've got exactly the same problems. And Postecoglou said, well, it's on me because I haven't worked on the defence yet. The Premier League season is like 2 weeks away, which causes me a lot of worry because we've got no new centre-backs. And Postecoglou said in his press conference yesterday that we will bring at least one in. At least one is not good enough. We need more signings in. We need quality signings in. And, you know, more reports out today stating that there is no interest now in Galatasaray defender Victor Nelsson. I'm not sure whether he would have been good enough anyway. The Tapsoba deal and the Van de Ven deal, you know, I've been told by so many people that these deals were close. Spurs are still working on them. but these have been going on for weeks. You know, these players need to be in the Tottenham Hotspur squad now, or certainly by the time Ange Postecoglou and the squad get back to England, because of course we've got 2 more pre-season friendlies after tonight's one. Shakhtar Donetsk at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then of course Barcelona a couple of days later, and then the following Sunday, the 13th of August, we play our first Premier League game, Brentford away. So Spurs have got to do a lot in this transfer window. It's all well and good, and I think some people have taken me wrong on social media when I've posted videos about the training sessions, attack. I love attacking football. I love front foot football, but you've got to defend. Now, I remember very, very well the 93-94 season, and in particular the start of the 94-95 season. You know, Sheringham-Klinsmann, it remains one of my favourite seasons being entertained. But of course, Ozzy Ardiles in November got the sack because we were losing games left, right and centre. I think Notts County 3-0 defeat was was his last game as Spurs. But it was entertaining football. But of course, you've got to defend. And at the moment, I don't think we can defend because we haven't got the players or the personnel to do that. At the moment, you know, going into the Premier League season, I know Ange Postecoglou's been talking about Ben Davies perhaps playing left back and Ben Davies perhaps playing the left side of defence. These are the same players that conceded 63 goals last season. So there is a lot of work to do. Give Ange Postecoglou the tools in order for us to progress and move on. We all know as Spurs fans going forward, we are a real force. We all know that the addition of James Maddison is a good one, a creative one. He will create a lot more chances than we perhaps had last year or in previous years since Christian Eriksen left. So going forward, we've got no issues. It is the defence. So Spurs need to get business done, deals done in the coming days, in my opinion. So when the squad and Ange Postecoglou return to England, you know, these players are there ready, waiting to train and integrate with the squad. An interesting couple of weeks coming up. You know, I try to be positive in every scenario, but a lot of people are very frustrated, angry, and feeling very down at the moment. You know, Spurs started the transfer window, you know, fairly well, especially with the signing of James Maddison. But if you don't sign defenders in this transfer window, especially in the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to struggle in these opening few games of the Premier League season. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good week. Come on, you Spurs.